Hello students, welcome back to LFI Educates. In this video, we'll discuss on Unit 5, Reproduction and Development. And the topics we're going to cover are gametes, the human reproductive system, what happens to the egg cell, from embryo to baby, growth and development, lifestyle and health. So let us now start with the first topic, gametes. Humans are very complex. Our body is made up of millions of cells. But our life began with a single cell. And the single cell was made when two very special cells called egg cell and sperm cell joined together. What are gametes? Egg cells and sperm cells are called gametes. These gametes are specialized sex cells produced by each parent for sexual reproduction. Chromosomes. Chromosomes are thread-like structures located inside the nucleus. They contain information about how cell will develop. Gametes have 23 chromosomes, but you have 46 chromosomes in every cell in your body. Female gametes. Egg cells are the female gametes. They are size of a full stop. They need to be quite large to make space for food stores in the cytoplasm. Male gametes. Sperm cells are called the male gametes. They are smaller than most other cells. They have tiny amount of cytoplasm. They have long tail so that they can swim. Fertilization. Fertilization happens when the sperm cell nucleus fuses with the egg cell nucleus. The new cell that is produced is called a zygote. The picture shows how the head of the sperm cell enters the egg cell and how the nucleus of the sperm cell and the nucleus of the egg cell fuse together. Our next topic is the human reproductive system. Here we have the male reproductive system and the female reproductive system. The male reproductive system. It consists of a number of sex organs that play a role in the process of human reproduction. These organs are located on the outside of the body and with the pelvis. The diagram shows the male reproductive system. The seminal vesicle and the prostate gland make a sugary fluid for the sperm cell to swim. The sugar gives the sperm cell energy to swim. The sperm duct brings sperm to the urethra. The urethra is a tube through which both urine and sperm leaves the body. The penis is used for urination and sexual intercourse. Testes produce sperm cells and male hormones. The female reproductive system. It is made up of the internal and external sex organs that function in reproduction of new offspring. Egg cells are produced in the ovaries. In an adult woman, one egg cell leaves one of the ovaries approximately each month, and this is called ovulation. The egg cells travel along the oviduct where they may be fertilized. The zygote that is formed by fertilization carries on traveling down the oviduct until it gets to the uterus where it develops into a baby. What happens to the egg cell? The diagram shows what happens to an egg cell if it meets a sperm cell in the oviduct. An egg cell leaves the ovary. The egg cell is fertilized in the oviduct and called as zygote. The zygote divides to make a little ball of cells. This is called an embryo. The embryo enters the uterus. It sinks into the lining and starts to develop into a fetus. The moment at which the zygote is formed is called conception. It takes several days for the zygote to become an embryo and travel into the uterus. If the egg cell is not fertilized, an egg cell develops in an ovary. The lining of the uterus starts to grow thicker. The egg cell is released from the ovary. The lining of the uterus becomes thick and spongy. The egg cell was not fertilized, so it just travels on into the uterus and dies. The thick, spongy lining of the uterus breaks down and is lost through the vagina. What is menstruation? The loss of the uterus lining through the vagina is called menstruation or period, and the monthly pattern of the thickening and loss of the uterus lining is called the menstrual cycle. From embryo to baby. For a pregnant woman, feeling a new life developing inside her body is an amazing experience, even though she may not always feel her best at some points along the way. Embryo sinks into the uterus wall. The sizes remain the same. There is no changes in their growth. However, it is now made up of many tiny cells rather than one big cell. These little cells were made as the zygote divided over and over again. The placenta is an organ that develops in the uterus during pregnancy. This structure provides oxygen and nutrients to the growing baby and removes waste products from the baby's blood. The placenta attaches to the wall of the uterus and the baby's umbilical cord arises from it. The umbilical cord allows the transfer of oxygen and nutrients from the maternal circulation into fetal circulation while simultaneously removing waste products from fetal circulation to be eliminated maternally. The little embryo floats in its own private pond containing amniotic fluid. This fluid is made by a bag called the amnion, which grows around the embryo. Fetal development. From a tiny cluster of the cells to a bouncing baby, fetal development is an amazing process. By the time it is 6 weeks old, the embryo is about 4 mm long and all its major organs have begun to grow. At 8 weeks old, the embryo is about 13 mm long and it started to move. At 11 weeks old, all the body organs have developed and the embryo has now become a fetus. It is about 50 mm long and is moving quite vigorously. From 11 weeks onward, the fetus grows steadily. Most fetuses have finished growing and developing about 38 or 39 weeks after fertilization happened and the baby is now ready to be born. Birth. Before the baby is born, it starts to move its head downwards. The muscles in the wall of the uterus contract and they make the opening of the uterus wider so that the baby can pass through. The muscles then contracts in a different way to push the baby out through the opening of the uterus and through the vagina. Growth and development. After fertilization, the zygote begins to divide. A single cell divides to form 2 cells, then 4, and so on. The change from a zygote to an adult does not involve only growth. It also involves development of heart, lungs, brain, etc. The chart shows the main stages in development that everyone passes through. Adolescence. It is a time for growth, spurts, and puberty changes. The reproductive organs and the brain undergo quite large changes. Changes in the reproductive organ. In girls, menstruation begins. Hormones produced by the reproductive organs cause changes in body shape as breasts develop and hips widen. Hair begins to grow in the armpits and other parts of the body. In boys, sperm production begins. Hormones produced by the reproductive organs cause body shape changes as shoulders broaden. The voice becomes deeper. Hair begins to grow on the face, armpits, and other parts of the body. Changes in the brain. There is quite a lot of reorganization in the brain, which makes a person think and feel differently from when they were a child. The ability to think logically improves. Emotions may become stronger. During adolescence, there is often a strong need for approval by friends and others. Lifestyle and health. What do you mean by drugs? A drug is any substance which, when taken into the body, alters the body function either physically or psychologically. Some drugs are very useful, such as antibiotics. It kills harmful bacteria in the body. Some drugs are not necessary for health, but are not harmful either, if taken in moderation. For example, caffeine in coffee. Some drugs are harmful, for example, nicotine in cigarette. Effects of nicotine. It can cause an increase in blood pressure, heart rate, flow of blood to the heart, and narrowing of the arteries. Nicotine may also contribute to the hardening of the arterial walls, which in turn may lead to a heart attack. Men who smoke tend to produce less healthy sperm. Smoking also reduces women's chance of getting pregnant. When a pregnant woman smokes, the nicotine gets into her fetus blood. If a fetus is exposed to nicotine, it is more likely to develop diabetes when it grows up. And with this, we have reached to the end of this video. Thank you for watching.